Hello, team, and welcome to Season 3. It is a pleasure to be here, and I hope you have been following throughout this year. But I'm going to introduce our first theme this season. I always like to start with a big one, and even though I say it's a big one, it just has three little letters, which are G-E-T. I am talking about get. And when you see it, you might be, that's easy. I know how to use that. But if you go online, you'll see sites say, 50 uses of get, 40 different ways to use the word get. And I think it adds a lot of complexity to something that is very common, especially for native speakers. I would say that I hear native speakers use get more frequently throughout the conversation than my Brazilian students. But that's kind of the point. It's to show you how you can include it and show a certain level of English dominance that you might not be able to with perfect conjugations of present perfect. So we're going to be talking about get today. We will mention it later on in the season as well. But here we go. So although if you go online, you'll find those 30, 40, 50 uses of get, you can kind of break them down into two basic categories. And before we start, I'd like to see what you guys think of it. When you think of get, what do you think? Oh, I got this ball from the table. I got sick. I got up. What do you think? And we're going to use that as a reference. And I would like you to see whether your examples fit into the following two categories. So, number one, I think this is the more famous one, to acquire. If I tell you, I got this formerly yellow, at least drawn it, this yellow ball, it can mean a lot of different things. Maybe I bought it. Maybe I bought it at the store. Maybe I bought it online. Maybe somebody brought it to me. Here, I got this ball from them. Maybe I picked it up off the table. I got this ball off the table. Maybe my great uncle Jeremiah, when he died, said, when I die, John is going to get this ball. You don't know. And of course, we can give more context. I got this ball from this table. I got this ball online. But get, it works almost like a pronoun for verb. You can think it's a proverb. But it takes the place of various more specific. I can say to buy. I can say to pick up. I can say to receive. But at the end of the day, one thing is true. I now have this ball. I now acquired it. And you can use it for all types of stuff. Here, to receive, to buy, but on a test, you get a score. You get sick. That's not always a good thing that you get. You get an opportunity. When you receive, you acquire an opportunity for a new amazing job. When you say, got it, you acquired understanding of the topic. So we have these various nuances, but in the end, they all mean that you now have something. All right, that's one. That's the first category, and I think it's the most famous one. Now we're going to get into part two, which is a little bit more complicated. It is also a lot more useful for my English learners, which is about a transition. So when I say that I get up, I'm transitioning from sitting down to being up. When I say I get home, I was outside, and then all of a sudden I am at home. But we can also use get almost like to be's cousin. Because I can say, and this is true, that it is hot. I can also say that it is getting hot. And what's the difference? When I say it is hot, from the beginning of the idea to the end of the idea, woo! Oh my God, turn on the air conditioning. But when I say that it is getting hot, it is either transitioning from cold to hot or a little bit less hot to hotter. So we have this movement. And it's like when we say that, jokes always have a little bit of truth. Well, these words, they need to have this kind of this idea, this spark of truth, or else you can't make sense. I can't just say, put my ball, get, and something random. No, it has to have some sense of truth. And it's A, going to be talking about acquiring something, or B, about some type of transition. If you're a little bit confused, let's take a look at some of these examples. And this first one, get with an adjective. In this case, you're kind of taking the place of to be. I can say that the coffee is cold. All right, it's there, it's cold, or it is getting cold. We can use this with pretty much any adjective, just like we can use to be. To arrive, when you get somewhere, you can go somewhere, which is about the leaving and going in that direction. Or when you get there, when you transition to being somewhere. This next one, to induce. This is a good one. To get somebody to do something. So they weren't doing something and they transition into doing it. It has a slightly manipulative, maybe more than slightly manipulative connotation, so be careful with it, but it is a good example. To get up, this next one, it's sometimes difficult for my Brazilian students, which is to get to know. We just use know in Portuguese. So if I know Maria, it's yeah, I know Maria. I've known her for many years. But if I get to know Maria, it is about the process of saying, hi, I'm John. I'm an English teacher. Get to doing. You are procrastinating, and then all of a sudden you get to doing. You start doing. To get through, maybe it's like a breakup. Oh my God, I loved her so much, and then little by little you transition into that's in the past. So we have that. To get over, which is similar. Actually, get over would be a better example for the breakup. But to get through would be any situation where you're kind of suffering and then pass, transition into being relieved afterwards. And to get away with, like the series, it's when you are, I guess, worried you did something wrong, and you transition into being fine. You got away with it. I know I might be kind of forcing some of these examples, but it is the common truth to all of them. All right. So, team, 3 minutes. Put this timer right there. Just click the link, and let's see how many examples you can make. I made a little story here, thanks to ChatGPT, with some different uses of get. And as a challenge, try to explain how they are used. If you have a partner, it's always better, but you can do it to yourself if you have to. Let's take a look at some of these conversation starters. Ooh, there's the taxi right there. I actually do not know where I got it, but let me pick a good one. Number 10, what would you like to get from the kitchen right now? I would love to get some ice cold coconut water. It is hot here in Brazil, and some coconut water, some ice cold coconut water. Even better if I got it straight from the coconut would be. All right, so guys, remember when we introduce one of these topics, the whole purpose is to attune you, to get you to pay attention to words you might ignore during your week. And what I would like you to start paying attention to are the different gets that you see when you're watching a TV series, when you're reading a book, when you're reading something, when you hear somebody speak. And that's your challenge, to start paying attention. And you might be, but I already pay attention. Well, pay more attention. There's no problem with that. All right. Your challenge this week, it's to make the pilot episode, the first episode, or actually the next episode of a crime procedural. What is a procedural? It is one of those, usually crime, but you have like hospital or lawyers where at the beginning they introduce a case and then the detectives are worried and they have no idea who it is, and then it all gets resolved by the end of the episode. So that is a procedural. All right, team, thank you. Let's get to it. I hope you got the information, and I will see you in class.